philosophy book. And this book, it actually talks about the secrets to life, secrets to leadership, and the secrets to business. So it brings those three areas. And I want to really thank you because you followed me in several. You guys have followed me in several of our book projects, and I just want to say thank you. And today, just getting your insight and just getting everybody pumped up to understand the power of a compilation book and the people and what they do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off, just by asking you to introduce yourselves, give a little background, and I got a couple of questions I think that most people want to know, about the book, about your chapter, and and those things. And by the way, here's the book. So this is the first copy that came in. So the book is now available on Amazon. You can go to Amazon and get your copy. And so again, we have a great group of people, and they're from around the world. We have Australia, we have, of course, the U.S., we got Canada, we got South Africa. So you don't bring this type of gathering together for anything, but that's what's been our project, is to reach out and bring the martial arts world closer, and our books, it really help to make that easier. So we'll start off with Grandmaster Brown. So if you would, just take and I know now you're not both talkers. We both have folks in the Baptist church. So
yeah. I grew up with a Baptist minister and lived in a minister's house, so we can talk.
we can talk. That's why Jessica says, are you going to text Master Brown or are you going to call him? So that way she's trying to get her timing. She knows if she calls, that's a 45-minute call.
No.
But welcome, sir. Just give a little background on you. And, for a lot of people in the martial arts community, you are, one of those foundation figures that you've been here for a long time.
Well, seems like I have been around forever. I'm looking at the book and I'm thinking, I remember him calling me when he was doing the first book. And
11 years ago,
that line at the bottom, and there was my little picture with all these greats, and I almost fell backwards in my chair. Oh yeah, we've been moving through this for you say 11 years. It's been a while. I started the martial arts in 1971. I'm gonna leave that alone. It's been 50, 60 years, and just happy to be able to still be here with presence of mind to remember that whole journey. And I know you're going to get into it, but of course it hasn't always been an easy journey. But those that were looking for an easy journey, they're not here. They're not on this podcast. They're probably not even still with it. Everybody saw the Bruce Lee era. I know you guys know also. We all got excited about that. And once that kind of burned out, they were gone. But for those of us who truly looked at it as a way of life, I didn't think it would be my job. I didn't think it would be my career, but I knew from the beginning that martial arts, the whole idea of martial arts and the philosophy and the way you live and those things, I knew were going to be a part of a way of life for me. So I kind of knew I'd still be here at this time. Just didn't know what I'd be doing. So that's kind of my quick intro there. And I've been around forever. Like I said, since 71, I believe it was, when I took when I opened up my first school with my instructor, and hey, we're still here.
Well, and I know you're in what state?
Well, I like to say I'm actually in Maryland, but everybody says Dennis Brown, that guy from Washington D.C. Nobody knows about the small area where I live, right outside of D.C. But I'm basically from the D.C. area. All my schools have always been in and around the Washington, D.C. area. So if you ask, well, where's he from? They'll go, yeah, D.C. guy.
Well, and again, a lot of competitors all over the country, all over the world know about the Capital Classic, your tournament. And so, you brought a lot of positive and strong elements to the book. And again, we want to thank you. We'll go over to Hunchy Ray and have him to introduce himself.
Greetings, everyone. It's a pleasure to be in such fine company today. I'm excited. You speak about being there and being included with the greats. I'm honored to be on this phone call today with you all.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Again, Nathan, born and raised here in Knightdale, North Carolina, which is right next door to the capital, Raleigh, about 15 minutes over east. And I've just, as everyone on this call knows, when you start martial arts and you're all in, such as Master Brown said, then then it becomes your life, and it's been a wonderful journey. And the cool thing about it, it keeps getting better. And so being able to continue to give back and be more efficient in the giving it has been really great. Hanchi has been my mentor, my teacher, great friend and guide, and it's just keeps getting better and better.
Well, now I'm not giving you any presents for your birthday again, so that was a good speech.
Hey, it's just it's easy to give a good speech when it's the truth.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
Yes,
I'll accept that and move on.
yes,
We
sir.
have Sensei Todd. How you doing, sir? Hey, welcome, and thank you for all the contributions that you bring to our projects.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you, gentlemen. I grew up in Massachusetts and moved to Ohio in 1999. And around 1980, I don't know about you guys, I saw Shogun with Richard Chamberlain and Toshiro Mifune and just fell in love with the samurai culture. And around 82, 83, I met Stephen Hayes here in Ohio, Anshu Hayes with ninjutsu, which was the big craze back then. And I just said as a young kid, I want to be a ninja. That's what I wanted to do. So I started in Weishido Karate and then moved into ninjutsu in about 1982 with Hatsumi Sensei and Mr. Hayes. And just was dumb enough not to quit. I just kept going through all the thick and thin and the hard times and saw friends go. But the martial arts, as you gentlemen know, is something that is so powerful on our psyche as a young child to make us want to keep going. The fantasy part of it is important in some aspects, I think, to keep us going. Otherwise, it's really hard to maintain. And I moved here in 99 to get my black belt with Mr. Hayes. And I have a fine dojo here in Mason, Ohio. We've been here almost 20 years now, serving our community. And my job now, I think all of us here, I assume we're over 40 or 45 maybe, I'm not sure, but
No.
our job,
God
I
bless
think,
you.
we try to pass this on to the next generations. We're not going to be here much longer. So it's my job and our job to inspire the kids who some of them don't have a lot of direction, not a lot of role models. So I think anyone who can pass on these wonderful martial arts, doesn't matter the style, and keep it going, I think is the key to keeping martial arts alive, which is, I think, probably one of the main purposes in all four of our lives.
Right. Well, and that's the purpose of the book. And so to all of our listeners, so remember, get your copy of the Elite Martial Artists Worldwide compilation book. It's in a audio book. It's in a soft cover, hardcover, and Kindle. And during our launch, it's only 99 cents. It's normally $9.99. So, but we want everyone to have a copy. Get a copy of the book. It makes a perfect gift. You have someone coming up with a birthday gift and they're a martial arts enthusiast, then what you want to do is get them a copy of the Kindle. 99 cents, email it to them. They can open up on their cell phone, their computer. So it makes a really perfect gift. Or either get you're one of those people that would like to have, your digital person, then that ebook is perfect for it. We have the soft cover, the hard cover, and I really love the audio book. And the audio book is great. I know, Master Ray and I, we were traveling to New Jersey back here, I guess about a month or so ago, and that's what we did. We listened to one of the audio books all the way there, and then we listened to it back because there was so much information that we had that time of, you're sitting in a car, you can, sort of, uncompress all of this information, and you can have a discussion. And this is the reason why this book is a great tool to have into your leadership programs. Now, I'm not just talking about martial arts, but any form of leadership, because that's what the book is addressing. So it's not talking about how to do a high block or a low block or a punch. It's really talking about the secrets to life, the secrets to leadership, and the secrets to business. So Todd, tell us a little bit share with us a little bit about your chapter.
Well, I'm writing in a continuation from the last book I had the pleasure of being a part of, which is Intent into Action. And like you said, this isn't really, you can apply it to martial arts, but it's a general thing. It's about how not just to talk about things, but to get up and do them, right? If we just talk or think about it, it never happens. So one of the things I talk about is being grateful every day. That's one of the main things. We look at places around the world and we have it so well here. To set goals, to have a purpose. What's my purpose in life? I have to write it down and speak it to the world and tell people so they hold me accountable. Being present in the here and now, as you guys know, the future hasn't happened, the past is gone. So all we really have is this moment together and how to make that. And I have the decision and the choices with what I say and do and think to make this day better, to give to others is one of the main parts of the chapters, which, as we're young, we accumulate stuff, but as you get old, you start to let it go and give it away. It's about service to other people. And probably the most important part of the chapter is how to stay positive when everything goes wrong, how to ask for help when you need it. None of us would be in business if we didn't ask for help. It's really difficult. So we just don't rely on our family and friends, but anyone in the community who can help us stay positive. I think when you get by yourself and you alienate yourself, that's when things really go wrong. So the idea of taking care of yourself, stop comparing yourself to other people, get out there and just living once is about asking for help and then going out and doing it and then getting together like you gentlemen and just making the world a better place. I think martial arts is so good at giving back to our community. So that's basically what my chapter is about. But like you said, it can apply to any business, any person, anyone at home, any kid that's out there that needs direction. There are so many chapters in this book with so much information, like you said, that you can just take one chapter every week and just try to follow those codes and tenets that have been written, and your life's going to improve 100 times fold. That's my opinion.
Right. Well, and I agree with that too. That's the reason why, when we came out with the first book, it was really great. Grandmaster Hayes, Joe Corley, Jeff Smith, all those people those guys that are sort of what we call up there are featured in that book. And this book came back. Each book gets better. And I think the third book is probably is all of them are great. This is a great book. But the difference is that it's not just looking here in the U.S. We're reaching out for voices of other people around the world that's doing what we're doing and hearing their voice. And they're saying the same thing. So Master Ray, so give us some shout out about your chapter.
Okay, my chapter in the book is called "The Joy of Living: Visualize and Win." I'm working to earn I want to earn another. I want to earn a nickname. I told some people, my students, I said I want to earn the name the Paradigm Buster,
Okay.
because you can have all the great skills and tools that you want, but if you don't create some new habits, some new paradigm, and override some of the old paradigms, you wind up in the same place you've always been. So living an efficient life is what it's about. The chapter goes into some simple steps. I also have another chapter. I'm going to be working with Hanshi Bowen on actually, that's going to be one of the chapters of a book that stands alone, which is going to be called The Joy of Living. This one was the business edition that we did in this book. However, it's really about the profundity of the simple. The most profound things that can get us there tend to be the most simple, and that's why they're almost a secret, or people want to call it a secret, because right there is so simple. It's right in front of your face. It's easy to walk by it. And so, just the chapter is really about raising awareness in the business world about serving, just as teacher just said, Todd just said, it's about having a level of awareness. And in that level of awareness, being able to step into something in business and serve others. It's the power of serving others that really has given me the ability to do what I love every single day and to wake up, be passionate about it. And so in my chapter, it speaks about how we take those principles and apply it to our business to serve at the highest level. And I will tell anyone now, I have, we always recreate our goals and elevate our goals. That's one of my great goals is to be the biggest server in the room. If someone comes in, I want them to be floored by what we're going to do. And I want to really make that impact and let that be somewhat, how do they say when it catches on, I want it to pass on to others. And so I know that with enthusiasm, that was another part of the chapter. It's like, how do you deliver that, and when you have great enthusiasm, man, it's like wildfire, it spreads. And so having enthusiasm in business, having the ability to raise awareness, all of those key points are very simple, and it's something we can do right now. And the last part of it is about the power of visualization. And there's a way to do visualization that's efficient. And in that, we can have everything that we say we want. Well, and that's true already. People get what they say all day long. The problem is they keep saying what they got instead of what they really want. And so it's about having clarity and being able to build the life and live a life that we design in business and beyond.
You're making me want to go out and buy another book.
You should be walking around with one in each hand.
I mean, that's no, you know what I mean. I'm gonna have my headset on, and I'm gonna be listening to those chapters because for me, I'm doing so many things. I'm not very auditorial type of person. I want to hear, but that's great. I mean,
Yes, sir.
for you and for Todd both, you guys have said some great things, and you guys. You're senseis. You're out there every day. We can have higher titles, but give me sensei. We're senseis. We're the teachers, and the more that we teach, the more that we understand. And so, what this book is doing is giving us a platform of bringing together 20 people from around the world, from different cultures and different places, and being able to share what makes us successful. So what makes us successful, and that's the key part. I have no idea where I would be in life without the martial arts and a good teacher.
Right.
You see,
That
and a good
mentorship
teacher,
piece,
because the teacher is the messenger. So martial arts stand, all are all equal, but it is the teacher who's the messenger. And what you guys are doing with your chapters and is giving you another voice that you can speak out loud. And as I said before, this is a great book that for people to be able to have, in their schools as a part of their leadership program, because just like, Sensei Ray, just like you were just saying just a few moments ago, and what you just said, every student needs to hear that in many cases, they never heard anything like that before.
Yes, sir.
So
That's what we discussed. When we were riding back and we discussed it, you made a great recommendation. Hey, each week have a topic or have a set time where you go in, introduce the different authors, and there's so much that we can build around that idea alone of using the book as another essential tool in the dojo or in your office, or like you said, it's not limited to martial arts, which makes it even more powerful. So so we're doing that as well, and it's a great education piece.
Well, and the power of this book, especially for the authors, because we're really, so this is our group cover, but as authors, you get a chance to personalize and monetize it. So everyone, you guys, you're going to have your picture coming out on the cover. You're going to have your own personalized books for you to market. So this is actually easy, but one of the easiest way to get a book produced is being as a part of a compilation book. Okay, Sensei Brown, well, everybody's Sensei today. We're going to take off all those big heads.
Let me say something here that Todd said that just struck me. Stephen Hayes, I spent probably 5 or 6 years competing with him on a national circuit. I was kind of a weapons guy, but I was this kung fu guy, doing all those kung fu things and very, very successful in weapons and all like that. But I was always really worried when I saw him waiting at the bottom of the steps, waiting to come up on the stage. I knew this was going to be he was a true professional, but he wasn't just a showman. He was a martial artist. I mean, you knew it wasn't about flipping and throwing them up in the air and all like that. And when I heard him say that, it's like, oh, well, this is family for me. So again, that's a big part of martial arts. Martial arts is a family. And you've heard me say it before, and family is forever. Family is forever, and martial arts should be a part of that. So I'm looking across at Todd and said, well, wait a minute, I'm looking at family and didn't even know. It's third cousin, fourth cousin, like that. But again, there's got to be something that that if you're really a martial artist and you really care about what you're teaching, it's going to connect you with so many people. You have such a large family that you can relate to.
Well, share with us a little bit about your chapter.
Well, I went back. I never expected to be a martial artist. I just wanted to take some kung fu classes like everybody else, and I got into it thinking I'm going to do a little bit, get a belt. Well, kung fu didn't even have belts then, but I never knew that it would take me around the world. The philosophy of it is everybody looks at us as fighters. I tell myself, yeah, I used to love to fight, Sandai, all of that stuff, but I'm not a fighter. He's a weapons guy. Well, he's not a weapons guy. I like to think that martial arts has made me the biggest gift that I got is being allowed to be a teacher of teacher of teachers. And over the years, you guys probably also, it's not just Dennis Brown been teaching for years, and in my thing, it takes me from when I first joined, and then when I started teaching, and then when I opened schools, then when I came this, and talks to you about how I never expected to do any of this. I never expected to be in China and all these different places, but if you look at it as just fighting, you'll get a few trophies, get a few medals, get a few covers of something. And then you get tired of it and you go into something else. But for me, the martial arts has always been a way of life. Well, how much longer are you going to do this? You've been doing this, actually teaching since 71. How much longer? And I'm still, believe it or not, I'm still teaching on a regular basis in my school, along with all the other tournament stuff. But how much longer are you going to be doing this? I'm saying, well, in order to say you're going to retire, you have to have a job. You have to feel like you're working a job. I've never felt like that I would ever stop doing this. I would never, and I tell folks that are running the school, I'm going to do like 8 or 9 years. I'm going to make some money. I'm going to buy me a house or car, and then I'm out of it. You're not a martial artist. You're just somebody who's in it for the business end. And the business is important. Don't get me wrong. I was one of the founding members of Educational Funding Company, as you know, with the guys that started that whole EFC type thing. But I've always thought that I won't ever retire from this. I hope I'll just keep passing it on and passing it on and passing it on, and hope that the knowledge that was given to me from all the martial artists, not just my instructor, but from all the martial artists, like the people on the cover of the book, I was able to pass that on to touch lives, to change lives through that. So I will probably do that, and hopefully you'll be calling me, Jesse, and saying, "Well, what you're 90? How much longer are you going to do this, man?"
I hope.
How much longer you're going to do this? And I'll be saying, "Hey, I'm going to be going into the school as long as I can, long as I can train." And it was never about if it was ever about the money. because that became a big thing over the years. Also, everybody wanted to have the most successful school, who makes the most money. And again, because I was AFC, everybody checked everybody's gross and all those things. But it was never for me about that. I figured if you did the right thing, if you taught the right thing, if you changed lives through your martial arts, they'll always be there. The students will always be there. Hopefully they won't all be in the school at the same time. Some of them will leave, but you'll always have a big following, and you'll always make a difference in lives. And that's what martial arts is about. I don't know if I ever want to actually get in a fight and beat anybody up, show off or anything like that. But I'm hoping that I'll always be able to continue to make a difference. And that's what's amazing about being on the cover of the book, is like, oh, okay, a few more people know me. I can make a few more changes and make a difference in even more lives, because Jesse said, no, he's the real deal.
Well, the influencers, and that's the people that are in the book, whether you're on the cover, you guys are influencers, and that's the reason. And when we realize as martial artists that we are influencers, we will understand the responsibility that we have, and that responsibility is when we're out for dinner with our wives, or whatever we're doing, people are looking. We're always representing. So we are the influencers, and we are the people that that really bring something there. My chapter is called "Chosen to Lead." And that's what ever since I started teaching when I was a green belt, and my teacher started teaching me about leadership. And I know my very first martial arts class, because I was never a competent person. I got involved in martial arts. I didn't want to get beat up no more. See, back in our day, you didn't fight back. You were called a coward. Now it's called somebody's bullying you. Back in those days, you're just a coward, and you didn't want to be known as a coward. And I was a coward, and I got involved in martial arts because I wanted to learn how to defend myself. And as you said, it became much more. And taking on that first role of leadership, I walked off the class of my very first class because I didn't have the confidence to stand in front of people. And I walked off, asked someone to take over the class. I went to my teacher's office, and he was sitting there with his hands behind his head, just listening to the class. And I knocked on the door. I said, "Sir, I just can't do this." He says, "You can do anything." He says, "Here, take this book." It was the Essentials of Teaching Martial Arts. And he says, "Go home, study this, come back tomorrow." I said, "Yes, sir." And I came back the next day. It wasn't that much better. But you see, those were impacts because of not being, and then someone took the time to focus on my shortcomings. Then by the time I was a brown belt, I was leading outside programs. By the time I was a black belt, I was the regional director for the American Martial Arts Alliance Association. By 1980, I opened up my school. I spent 29 years at Duke University teaching under physical education. I ran my martial arts school, for 39 years. And, I've worked with sports teams. I'm a sports hypnosis coach. So I've got all of these things, but they all deal within me. So, I've chose to lead and to be there. So I want to be the best I can be. So in the book, it talks about leadership, and it talks about my experience and how I overcame these things, and to really help people to become better. So this is what the book is really about, everyone. It's really about bringing together, 20 martial artists and sharing, their success. We've all fallen down at some point in our life, but it's not falling down. It's, do we have the energy to get back up? And once we get back up, what do we do with that energy? So my takeaway that I want someone to have from my chapter is that I want someone to be able to read my chapter, and then, maybe they're at that strong place, but be able to share that chapter with someone that's in a weak space. And they go, "Here's Grandmaster Jesse Bowen. He's a 10th degree black belt. He's got all of these doctorate, educational degrees and all this. But he was the guy that his teachers told that he would never succeed." You see, I'm one of those guys that I did a business plan, and 12th grade, but I was a goof off in high school, I confess. But I did this business class, and it was so intriguing that I worked really hard on it. And I turned it in. The teacher's name was Miss Smith. And I turned it in, and she says, Jesse, did you come to the front? I came to the front. She says, did you write this? You know, I'm standing there waiting for her to pat me on the head. Good boy, you know. And she says, you didn't write this. And she tore it up and put it in the trash can. I still remember that today. But you see, that's what drives me. If I can dig her up, never mind. But but that's what drives me, is understanding that when I was told I couldn't be or I couldn't do, I was the guy on the bottom. So, but now I'm a leader and I've chosen that position, and now I want to do that. So, Master Brown, what's the takeaway you want someone to have from your chapter?
Well, martial arts for me, again, like I said, has been my life. And if I could go through all of life without ever having to fight anybody, because you get that, all of you guys get, well, what would you do if somebody did this? My goal is to be so good at what I do, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually, that I never have to fight. I mean, if somebody comes up, most people that get into an altercation is because they want to prove something to that person that's the bully or whoever he is that comes up for you, and you want to show him that you're not afraid, you're not this, But when you're a real martial artist and you know your skill and you've trained, and you never have to feel like you have to prove it to anybody else. Well, if you're never going to fight, if you went through your whole life and never got into a real fight, what was the purpose of all that working out? Said, I want to be that good that nobody even feels like.
No one messes with me anymore. No one. That was the Joan Reed.
Joan Reed, nobody bothers me.
Right,
he was one of my first. Yeah, but from my book, that chapter, that I started with Joan Reed. Nobody bothers me. He's this little guy, but he was not a violent man. If I tell me about the story, tell me some stories about how you've had to use it in the street. And I'm saying, I hope I never have to use it in the street. I'm hoping that not just that they read something about me, it's just that they can tell from the person that I am that whatever it is, we can get over this. We should be able to get past this. And anytime I go to a tournament, especially at the Capitol, because we got all these bad guys that want to throw down. And I always tell them, I have respect for the guy who never fights. He says, I'm hoping that I'll never have to hit anybody, because it means that mentally something else failed. I was not able to reach him on a level that I should have been able to reach. So if I had to knock him out, that's not something you brag about. That's something you don't hold your head up about. That should have never got to that level. So for me, martial arts has always been a lesson. It was a school, not just for me to teach other people, but I've grown and learned and evolved through teaching, because the lessons don't come to you, they come through you.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's great. And I agree 100%. If I've got to use what I've learned, I've already lost the battle. Yeah. And because, number one, it takes the power to walk away from a situation. And as martial artists, we develop this in-depth ability to sense, feel, and know the outcome of something, before it actually happens. So if I can defeat you in my mind before we get started, then there's no need. And I'm going to walk away, and I'm going to walk away until I can no longer walk away. And like, as I told Nathan when we were in Atlantic City, I don't run anymore. So running's out. So let's take that off the table. Take that off the table in the beginning. So you're going to mess with Hanshi, running is out. So that's not happening. So you need to go to option number 2.
Yeah, and you don't want to see option number 2.
You don't want to see option number 2, because running is out. And so that's out. So Sensei. So Ray, what's the takeaway you want someone to have from your chapter?
What I'd love for people to take away is the same thing, and the powerful, simple thing that I got, which is, hey, your imagination and the most powerful things that we have available to us came with this package deal called life. The most powerful things are free. And so I know Earl Nightingale, he said, that, how does that go? when you have things that are around you that you pay for, you know, people put a lot of value on the thing, but you can always replace that thing that you paid for. You can replace the car, you can replace your wallet, you know, you can replace money, all those things. They're not the most valuable, but the things that are most valuable, your mind, your ability to be cognitive and think, those are the real valuable things. And so sometimes familiarity breeds contempt, you know. And so I hope people take away from my chapter is that, like the book Acres of Diamonds, Russell Crowell, when he wrote that, and it's the principle of the most valuable things in the world, we already have them and they're free. Our imagination, our ability to be cognitive and think, our ability to have focus and concentration, all of those things are already at our disposal. And because of that, anyone can create the life that they want like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
I hear you.
Well, you know, well, that you know, and that's what we really want to talk about is, you know, and just like we said, is that, you know, that fighting is not the end all, and because martial arts has so much to offer that person,
That's right.
that the student of the martial arts, and I, before, martial arts is great, but the teacher, this is where we come under leadership and the different things that we're trying to share. You know, these 20 martial artists who are written a chapter here, which, you know, over 2,000 words, which makes this very, very powerful. So,
Yes, sir.
Sensei Todd, what do you want the takeaway to be from your chapter?
Well, I suggest to everyone out there, you have to get the book to find out what's in it. I have here, I just got this from the shelf. I don't know if you remember this book. I
Yes,
was
I do.
12 when I found this in Kmart. And this is what inspired me. So that book cover that you're holding there, hopefully will inspire the next generation.
That's powerful.
Someone will pick up that book and connect with one of the people on that cover, as I connected with this gentleman when I was 12. And I was whining in a Kmart to my mom, can we get the book? She said, no, it's $10. We can't afford that. And the next time I went, Mom, I want that book. I want to be that. I want to be a ninja, a samurai. I love it. No, she said, no. Finally, she let me have the book. And 45 years later, this is the original book. This is what inspired me. And I know all of you have books on your shelves. If you look at that cover, you melt because it connects with you, whether it's Bruce Lee or whoever it is. Every time Grandmaster Bowen brings out a book, I always get hardcover books. You know why? I always get the hardcover because I want to use it as a weapon. I want to use the book as a weapon. You know what I mean? I think that way. I think
the hardcover.
There it is. This old one took out 5 ninja assassins. No, I'm only kidding.
Hold that one back up for a second, Todd. Hold that one back up.
I don't know what y'all got going on in
That's
Ohio, man.
That's book number 2 that he's actually holding up.
Yeah, but the point is, hopefully, someone will pick up this book, a young person, and be inspired to get into the martial arts. You know, we were talking about being a sensei. We know that sensei in Japanese just means one who has lived before you, one who has walked before you. We have made every mistake that you can imagine. So when young people come to us for advice, we can cut down their time and say, look, I messed up here, here, and here. Here's what you do not to do that. So this book is a guide for young people to see, look, I can save myself a lot of money and time if I just listen to these old guys that have made every mistake in the book. Isn't that what it's about? It's about service. It's so easy as a martial artist for us to take a life, but to give is so hard. It's so much more pleasurable. In this book, I think, hopefully, if people get it, they must. I mean, you must get this stuff, because without knowledge, how can we have guidance in life? We go off the path very easy. You need people that have been there and made mistakes to learn from. That's what it means to be a sensei. And I want everyone out there who's young to become a sensei. Don't quit. Do not quit. Every one of these chapters is about not quitting. Don't give up when it gets tough. We didn't give up, and that's why we're here today.
Wow, you know, that's very powerful. You know, and you're correct. Just the image is transformational. And you know, my very first day of martial arts class, I had not seen the word karate, because when you go back into the 60s and 70s, this stuff is new. You got a few magazines that's out there, and I was in the very first day I left class. I stopped by a convenience store, and I'm walking out the door, and my eye catches the word karate in a magazine rack, and I go, like you don't see a red car until you buy a red car, and you see all the red cars, and that's sort of the way it was. I looked, and I went over and I picked it up, and I opened it up on the inside, and there was a picture of Chuck Norris holding a huge trophy cup, and with his foot up in a folding chair, a little old lady, him in his uniform. It was a uniform ad. And I remember I bought the magazine. I knew at that very moment I wanted to be a karate champion. I knew at that moment. I didn't know 5 years later, 6 months later, because my first year I just got beat up, but I knew I wanted to be a karate champion. I knew that at that very moment that I wanted to be but that image of Chuck Norris holding that trophy cup is still etched in my mind. That's what we're talking about, is the image of martial arts and the people that impact. So that was good. So we're getting ready to come to the end. Come to the end. Thank you, Sensei Ray. Now, we're coming to the end of all of our broadcasts today. Remember, get your copy of the book. We've done something that hasn't been done before. We've been able to bring martial artists from around the world together to give their thoughts in a book that I'm calling more of a philosophy book of 20 martial artists, and they're all successful. They've all been around for that 30, 40 years in the martial arts. And so they have that ability. And not only that, you can actually reach out to these martial artists and get information. You can actually contact me if you're reading a chapter and on leadership and you have a question about leadership, then hey, listen, you can text me, call me. I'll be more than happy to talk about the chapter, give insights on it. But remember, that's what we want to extend this around the world in the different avenues that we're presenting the book, so you can get it. So remember, it's running across the screen right now. Go to Amazon until Sunday. It's going to be up for only 99 cents. So we made this powerful book available for only 99 cents, because we're giving back. We're giving back to the community. And I don't want to say, well, it's $9.99. I don't know if I can afford it. For 99 cents, now everyone has 99 cents in their pocket. So remember, slap it on that card. But now you got to pay tax on it. So I think you need $1.05. So get your copy, give it to someone, birthday gifts. There's so many options you can use on that. So, guys, I want to truly thank you for being on this call today, and thank you for all the support you've given me, over the years and supporting me. And I always want to uphold that trust and make sure that I honor your story and everything that you're looking for. I want to make sure it's so powerful in there.